Have you ever wondered how you would treat your children if one was your own and the other adopted? Would you love them equally, or would you unintentionally show favoritism? And what might the consequences of that choice be?
Dylan and Magi had been married for 5 years, but remained childless despite medical tests confirming nothing was wrong. After countless traditional remedies, an elder suggested they adopt a child, believing it might improve their chances of conceiving. Following this advice, Dylan and Magi adopted a 1-year-old boy from an orphanage and named him Wilson. Life seemed complete until 6 years later, Magi unexpectedly became pregnant. The couple was overjoyed, but Wilson, then 6 years old, was no longer showered with the same love and attention. Scolded for minor things and often overlooked, Wilson learned to fend for himself. At just 7 years old, he began washing his clothes, preparing simple meals, and cleaning the house while keeping his efforts hidden. Despite his tender age, he exhibited a maturity far beyond his years. When his brother William was born, Wilson's struggles deepened. Often left waiting for hours after school and arriving home hungry, he would quietly raid the kitchen for scraps. If there was nothing to eat, he drank water to quell his hunger. Though he lived under their roof, he felt like a stranger in his own home. Dylan and Magi adored William, even naming him similarly to Wilson. Their favoritism was clear, but Wilson never complained or resented them. Instead, he focused on becoming self-reliant, silently enduring his circumstances. Years passed, and Wilson excelled academically. After earning an engineering degree, he moved to a different city for work but visited his parents every weekend. The cold reception never deterred him. He remained grateful for their sacrifices, even if affection was one-sided. One day, Wilson was assigned to manage a major overseas project for 3 years. He informed Dylan, who only nodded in response. Due to his outstanding performance in the first 3 years, he was given another 3-year assignment, keeping him away for a total of 6 years. During these years, he could barely call home to check on his parents. When Wilson finally returned, he eagerly contacted his family, only to find their numbers unreachable. Worried, he drove straight to their home, only to discover it abandoned. A neighbor informed him that Dylan and Magi had been sent to a care home a year ago after losing the house. Wilson learned that William had tricked Dylan into transferring the house deed into his name, claiming it was for inheritance planning. Trusting his son, Dylan agreed, only to discover 2 years later that William had sold the house without informing them. Now the bank wants the house vacated. Efforts to contact William failed, and with no way to reach Wilson, Dylan and Magi were left homeless. Shocked and furious, Wilson began searching for the care home. Bureaucracy and conflicting records turned the process into a days-long ordeal. Exhausted but determined, he finally located them just before sunset. Wilson entered the nursing home's dining hall and spotted his frail parents eating quietly together. Seeing their diminished state, tears welled up in his eyes. He approached them and knelt, calling softly, "Father, Mother?" Dylan looked up, and his face crumbled into tears. Magi's hands trembled as she reached for Wilson. They embraced him tightly, their shared emotions silencing the room. The other residents watched in amazement. "Didn't you say your son abandoned you?" one asked Dylan. "So who is this?" Dylan stood shakily but with pride. "This is our eldest son, Wilson." The residents surrounded Wilson, patting his back and offering kind words. "You're a good son," one said warmly. "Take care of them." Their support brought a rare smile to Dylan's face. Wilson took his parents home that day and promised to restore their dignity. Over dinner, they shared everything that had happened. "I'll buy back the house," Wilson vowed. "You'll live there comfortably with caretakers. You'll never have to worry again." Dylan and Magi wept. "We're sorry for how we treated you," Dylan said, head bowed. Wilson smiled gently. "Father, I'm who I am today because of the experiences I went through. They shaped me and gave me strength. While it may not have seemed like love, it shaped me into the person I am. For that, I'm forever grateful." His words brought tears to Maggie's eyes as she embraced Wilson, seeing him as her true son. As parents, never show favoritism among your children. Love them equally, for childhood experiences shape their lives. Not all children will grow up understanding or repaying kindness, but some, like Wilson, will rise above and show unconditional gratitude.